Hi, welcome to another 5 minutes of Mautic Insights, and in this case we're talking about submitting custom API calls from Mautic campaigns. My name is Ecke Gümbel, I'm with Leuchtfeuer in Hanover, Germany, and as I said in my other lightning talk, we have recently tried to come up with very generic solutions for interaction between systems, and in this one we have a lightweight solution of submitting API calls to external systems. So Mautic is sending an API call to an external system. Why would you do that? It's really multifold. You can get sent information from the outside system. You can send information to the outside system. You can trigger something at the outside system. You can even integrate this with N8N or other things. So it's super powerful. How do we do that? We do that on a per contact basis by providing a campaign action that does all this. And a little background, this was initially an apprentice project over here, and it just grew into something already super powerful, and as we will see in the end, there's a lot of ideas on top of that. So what does it look like? There's the URL endpoint. So we decide where to send any information. We decide what HTTP method to use, like GET or POST or whatever. We can add parameters to the endpoint, so this thing that is behind the question mark. And as you can already see here, you can use tokens like contact field, contact field, email anyway. This is pretty important because you need to do something on top of the generic static data, so you can use tokens in endpoints, in your endpoint parameters, and even in payload. So we come to that. On top of the endpoint URL, you can give authentication information. So what we support as of today is basic authentication and any custom header lines that you would like. So speaking of content, if we do a post request, then we can contain some content in the body, and again you can have tokens here. Then if the endpoint returns any information, we probably want to do something with it, and what we have so far, we can parse it, get the piece of information that we need or like, and save that to a contact field. So that's what we just saw is the campaign action. It's just one big window where you can do it all, and basically that's also features that we have today. Different HTTP methods, authentication methods, send payload, receive payload, and a store it to a custom field. Let's reflect a little bit. What could this be used for? It is super generic. So you could, for instance, get a sign up in Mautic and send that over to the webinar system, or you could trigger some channel, like send a postcard, a fax, whatever you like, maybe a text message. You could retrieve information, like, okay, I now know the email and I want to get something from the shop system, or I want to get some contact information, maybe even on the company of the contact. And the funny thing is, we can even trigger or talk to the Mautic API through this, and maybe do things that we could not do otherwise. Goody. As I said, there's a ton of other ideas, like other ways of authentication, a lot of manipulation that you can do with the retrieved value. Some of that has to do with the values themselves. Some things have to do with making more robust error handling, etc. Then if you today want to do the same API call in 2 places or in 7 places, you have to do the same definition in 7 places. So we might have a more abstract way to do that, define it somewhere, and then just refer to that. This is similar to how sending webhooks works with Mautic today. And we could of course do the same thing in other places like form actions or point triggered events. So where can you find this plugin? It's of course on GitHub. It's available for Mautic 5 and 6 as of today, and with a little tutorial where you can find the usage information. Thank you very much. Have a lot of fun.